Hello, draft fans, and welcome to the RDL show. This is your weekly roundup for all things Regal. And this week was particularly explosive. Quite literally. We will, of course, go over all the results of the previous week's games, picking out some interesting highlights. We will look ahead to some interesting matches for the following week and discuss any transfer news. But first things first, let's go over the results. Sky Strikers 2, New York Latios 0, Orlando Washerwatts 2, Indianapolis Mudbrays 0, Welsh Woobats 0, Golden Gate Goldengo 2, Blazing Breloom 0, Down Under Drop Bears 2, Los Angeles Latias 2, Newcastle Niederkings 0, Sandaconda Squad 2, Durham Drug Algaes 1, Gothenburg Gothitels 1, Denver Darkrise 2. I really need to reevaluate my power rankings because there were some results that absolutely shocked me. The teams I placed as my bottom 3 all picking up massive wins to send me a pretty large fuck you. The Drop Bears and the Darkrise in particular leaving me looking rather stupid, taking out the teams I ranked number 4 and number 2 respectively. Now time to go over some highlights, and every match this week was super close. I had some really nice tech on display, so it was so hard to pick a game of the week and pick highlights to share. But I think the two big stories of the week were exploding Pokemon and setups, with 2 of the Lake Trio and a pretty angry fish playing Kamikaze, and then Scizor, Chestnut and Frostmoth just some of the Mons boosting stats to cause havoc. Now, I would have felt pretty wrong using highlights from my match, but I couldn't not give a massive GG's to Shim for cooking up Sap Sipper, Perisong Azumarill. That really was a stroke of genius. Now, the first set I picked out as a really interesting tech was the Sandaconda squad versus the Durham Drug Algaes, and Alberto bringing Terra Ground Dragon Dance Gyarados with co-star Flamigo was superb. Chef's kiss for that one. Then in game 2, for space to lean hard into that Sandaconda with Coil, Body Press, Terra Fairy, Shed Skin. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And an incredibly close and exciting 3-game set. Huge congrats to both of you on that. That was so close to being my game of the week. Another amazing battle for me was Blazing Brelooms versus Down Under Drop Bears. The Brelooms kind of had no answer to bulk up Body Press Chestnut, letting it get a KO and 3 assists in game 1 and the match sealing KO in game 2. But what I really liked in this match was the Azelf set. Light Screen, Reflect, and Explosion. How that Beartic survived, I do not know. 4 HP after Azelf going boom. That's a strong bear. Again, congrats to both Breloom Boy and to Pikachu for an absolutely phenomenal game that was really exciting to watch. Honourable mention has to go to our fearless leader, the chairman of the league, Otter, being able to get a win with Dedenne and a couple of KOs with it too. And for an absolutely incredible Frostmoth set. Game of the week has to go to Gothenburg Gothitels versus the Denver Darkrise. Protect, normal terror, self-destruct, turn 1. Absolutely genius. I certainly didn't see that coming. So how the heck Fluffo would have seen that coming, I do not know. All 3 games were absolutely incredibly close and was so exciting to watch. This takes Game of the Week. Of course, there's absolutely no prizes for Game of the Week. It's just the honour of knowing that you were picked. On now to the transfer news. And week 1 was pretty quiet on the transfer front, but the 2 that did happen will have massive implications for the rest of the season. And after getting his promised win with Pika Originu, Coach Otter of the Orlando Washboards decided to retire Dedenne on a high and bring in Lodsire. We reached out to Otter for comment, and all we got was Dedenne did his job. Now he can go. Coach Ronan of the Welsh Woobats made the biggest splash, and not hard with there only being 2 transfers, but hey, let's make it sound huge. Releasing Dondozo and Tatsugiri to bring in Urshifu and Houndoom. When asked for a statement, Coach Ronan said, "We failed the Don by drafting him too early, allowing our rivals to pick up obvious counters with later picks. We send our sincerest apologies to both Dozo and Tatsu for letting them down and hope that they will be willing to join us future seasons. We are incredibly excited to welcome both Houndoom and Urshifu to the squad and hope that they can elevate the entire team and bring us success during the remainder of the season." All very politically correct and boring, if you ask me. Reading between the lines, what he meant to say was, "I suck, and I couldn't figure out how to use Dozo Tatsu, so I gave up and binned them for easy to use Pokemon." Now let's look ahead to week 2. And the first game I want to take a quick look at is the Gothenburg Gothitels versus the Down Under Drop Bears. Now, the Gothitels, having lost in week 1 in shocking fashion, will be looking to bounce back against a Down Under Drop Bears team riding high on a win. And I think this is going to be a really, really interesting matchup because the Explosion Azov strat is not going to work on Fluffo after seeing the Terra Normal self-destruct turn 1 in his week 1 match. So it'd be interesting to see what Pikachu comes up with for this match, and interesting to see if Fluffo and the Gothitels can bounce back from a really disappointing loss. Another really, really interesting match is going to be the Sky Strikers versus the Denver Darkrise. After the Sky Strikers responded to my comments of average by taking a really, really important win week 1, and Denver coming off that really big week 1 win versus the Gothitels, it's going to be a very, very interesting tactical game, I think. The big game of week 2, though, has to be the Orlando Oshawotts versus the Golden Gate Goldengos. My number 1 and number 3 ranked teams coming into the season, facing off in what is sure to be an epic, epic showdown. That about wraps it up for this week. Congratulations to all the winning coaches. To those coaches that didn't win, never give up. Still have 7 weeks of exciting games to go. It is not over by a long shot. Thank you all for watching the RDL show, and good night.